Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A-plus customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Leopard Geckos in the Hobby podcast, broadcast, live stream. I want to ask you what you think sounds best for our Monday night live stream that I do with you guys where I answer questions. Last year, I called it Leopard Gecko Talk. What's going on, Norman? Good to see you, man. But this year, I might change the name. It's 2023 now. It's going to take a little while to get used to that, but I might change it to Leopard Geckos in the Hobby, you know, because sometimes we talk about stuff more than the hobby in here, so more than Leopard Geckos. But what's going on, Wizard? And then, of course, putting the Q&A in the title, I think, lets people know that this is a question and answer. So I'm just looking for little ways that people can identify more what this broadcast, you know, live stream is. Obviously, our Friday nights is definitely a podcast because it's an actual, like, official interview that we're having with people. But maybe I should just call this a broadcast or podcast or leave the title as it is. Whatever it is, it's good to see you guys. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to some of your questions. Like, I know All Exotics has messaged me on Instagram, and I haven't gotten to some of your questions. This has just been a little bit of a busy time. We are prepping for the California Reptile Super Show in Pomona. That's coming up this weekend. So if there is a live stream this Friday, it's going to be behind the scenes with breeders at the Pomona show. Now, everyone's going to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to get last-minute preparations all set up on Friday night. So it might just be me, like, broadcasting live from behind the scenes. That would be pretty cool, right? What do you think? But if there's some friends of mine there that I can, like, video record or interview some of their stuff before the weekend, that's going to be the day to do it. Now that I'm thinking about it, Friday would be the better day for me to record and live and talk to some people, because Saturday and Sunday, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be no time to do that. Unless I set up a video camera on at my booth where people can, like, say hi live, or I could record it and then edit it and release it as a video later on. Either way, pretty cool ideas, right? But Coles, good to see you. Gecko Craze. Yeah, that would be pretty cool if we could do live. So I got some water here. Might not be a super long live tonight. Maybe like an hour till, yeah, like 7 o'clock my time here, so that I can accomplish some more work that I need to do in preparation for the show this Friday. But I'm feeling a lot better heading into this week about being prepared for the show coming up. I was hoping to get a bunch of animals inventoried, photographed, and put up on our website before the show, but the thought kind of occurred to me that that would be a waste of work in a way, because if I start selling animals before the show and I took all this time to, like, put those animals up on the website and stuff, and I'm still going to need to bring new animals to the show, it's almost a better use of my time if I just spend this week getting everything ready for the show, bringing all the animals to the show, and then whatever doesn't sell, then I can photograph those, take pictures of them. Take pictures and photograph? That's the same thing. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, photograph those animals and put them up on our website. Now, I deleted everything off our website because I have a new plan of attack. For the most part, I might try to only put up stuff on the website that is a little bit older, like 25 plus grams, because a lot of the geckos that I was taking pictures of that were like below like 15 or slightly below that, 15 grams or below that, if somebody doesn't buy it and like 2 to 3 months goes by, now the gecko looks different. It's much older. Its colors are evolved a little bit. So waiting until the are older to begin with before selling them, that might just be a time saver all in general, because people typically want older geckos anyway. The only people that want younger geckos are like pet stores and wholesalers that want them super, super cheap. And that's not exactly my wheelhouse of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell high quality geckos at different price ranges, low, medium, and high. And for the pet keeper as well as the breeder. And for me to do that, I need to be comfortable sending that animal off, which typically needs to be 15 to 20 grams or more size wise. You know what I mean? So the Who. Hey, I'm back from last week. How have you been? I have been pretty good. I'm thinking of some video topics I can do. I'm so anxious to like make some videos again. It's just been really, really busy, but we have one additional part-time employee now that is starting to help out around here, and that is starting to alleviate a lot of pressure off of me. A matter of fact, if it wasn't for the show coming up this weekend, I would not feel any pressure time-wise at all to take care of the animals and all that kind of stuff. The only reason I feel a little bit of pressure this week is because of the show, and I know how much needs to be done before the show and how much preparation needs to go into inventorying the animals, pulling those animals, making sure I keep track of their tubs so I could put them back in the appropriate place. We're going to bring with us close to 100 animals to the show, and I'm going to bring a lot of Black Knights. I would rather sell Black Knights in person than have to ship them, because shipping is always a dangerous procedure. However, with Redline Shipping, which is might be our channel sponsor here, they are like on the up and coming shipping companies that we'll do a whole episode on. If we wind up, I'm in communications with the owner right now. If we wind up securing that sponsorship with them, I'll do a whole episode on Redline Shipping. But they do offer insurance, which not every shipping company does. And if you're shipping in expensive animals, insurance is going to be something that is beneficial to have. It's not very expensive, and it's oftentimes worth the cost. However, for your animal to fall into the insurance category, there are certain standards that you need to upkeep. So I will read through those standards off their website. If I wind up being partnered with Redline, you'll see their little logo here if we partner with them. But they are kind of a West Coast based shipping company, as far as like where where the owner's headquarters is. And so I'm going to see the owner at like every single reptile show since I'm on the West Coast here. So I think that would be a really good partnership for us. What else? Yeah, so I'll do a whole episode on Redline Shipping and insurance through Redline Shipping if it all comes down filtering through that. But the bottom line is I'm bringing a lot of Black Knights to California. So if you're in the market for a Black Knight or know somebody who is, we're going to have a bunch of them there, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Tangerine leopard geckos, some lower priced pet leopard geckos, you know, for just $50 to $75. So we'll have a whole bunch of cool stuff. Kyle Dell, good to see you, man. Long time no see, I think. So while I have a second, I could mention US Arc, Rainbow Mealworms. We love those two companies right there. I see US Arc at like every reptile show that I go to as well. So anyway, if you guys got questions, let me know. I think Monday nights would be a good day for me to make it my push day for workouts. So if you missed the episode last Monday, I need to start working out again. My body is just feeling it. My neck is cramping up. I'm not getting good sleep. And I think a lot of that has to do with me not having a balanced lifestyle. My lifestyle is like this: on my phone, on my computer, and leaning over like this, cleaning leopard gecko tubs, ball python tubs, all that kind of stuff. And it's really starting to take a toll on my body. So stretching, yoga, workouts, all of that's going to be super helpful. So if you don't mind, I hope you guys can encourage me to do some push-ups and stuff during this live stream, because I was going to go to the gym, but instead of going to the gym, I wanted to do a live stream because that keeps things consistent on Monday nights. So if you don't mind, I will just take the gym to the live stream and do push-ups here with you guys while talking about things and answering questions. So, okay, Kyle, maybe I just, I'm sorry. Maybe I just didn't see your name last time. Because sometimes I don't do the best job of keeping track of questions. I get on these long rants and explanations and stuff, and then I miss stuff. But hopefully I could keep up with everything today. So Dragonheart Exotics, Sarah, good to see you. Let's see. So what else do I have to mention? Things are going really, oh, I found the pink gecko. So let me see if I can pull the pink gecko out from the rack. But before that, I have to do 20 push-ups. So this is for the gecko, y'all. I'm going to go all the way up and all the way down, Norman. Like you said, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I have a really cool video idea that I'm going to do. How to blow up on Instagram. Little tips and tricks, because we're starting to blow up on Instagram, and there's some things I'm learning, and how to get paid on Instagram and stuff like that. I think that'll make a fun reptile video for our YouTube channel. What do you think? 1, 2, 3, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, also, since this is the first week that I just got back into working out, everything on me is like stiff. You know what I mean? Like, I tried not to go super hard at the gym because I've learned my lesson this way before, where if you don't work out for a while and then you work out really, really hard, your whole body just gets locked up. All your muscles get locked up for like a week, and it's really hard to work or do anything. So kind of easing yourself back into, your muscles into those motions is helpful. So this last week, I wasn't going super hard. I was locking up a little bit, but nothing crazy. And so as I get back into it, I think that's going to be the way to do it. I'm usually watching from the Dragonheart Exotics account. Oh, okay. So you and Sarah are here then. Right? Do I got it right? I'm doing better at not ranting, right? Or am I not? I mean, let me know. I think I'm doing better at not ranting because, I mean, a lot of the drama has kind of fallen away a little bit, I guess. Like the people that follow us now, the people that are here now, the people that watch us now, they're not bringing up necessarily like all the geckos are moving right now. It's crazy. All of them are like crawling around and stuff. I got the window open so it's fresh. Anyway, I think I'm focusing less on the drama and just focusing on the content, right? So I'm so excited about leopard geckos. Like I love leopard geckos so much. There's enough energy in me to just focus on just leopard geckos. You know what I mean? Drama is fun to talk about sometimes, right? Like, because everyone likes a little bit of drama. But at the end of the day, you guys are here to talk about leopard geckos, to hang out with leopard gecko people and stuff like that. So I hope I'm doing better on not ranting. Really, really funny. There's a lot of podcasts starting up now for reptiles. I just started watching this one podcaster that's back after he was gone for a really long time. He kind of had a falling out with another podcaster, and he was supposed to go on this guy's show. He decided last minute to pull out of that guy's show, and that guy whose show it was, he did this whole, like he kind of let his frustration go. Like if you remember me, that time when that happened with me last year, and I kind of just let my frustration go, and then I deleted the episode because I didn't think that obviously wasn't right. That wasn't a good way for me to handle that, and I felt ashamed that I did that. So I deleted the episode. I didn't want it to be on public air. I don't even think I have it. Like when you have a YouTube channel, you have the ability to like make the video private so nobody could see it, but then you could always make it public again. You know, kind of like some arsenal. You know, like if you got some dirt on someone, you could hold it in your inventory as arsenal and then release it if you need to. It's funny how the world works, but anyway, yeah. So just kind of staying away from the drama, I think, helps with the rants. But yeah, thank you. We're gonna hopefully have a safe travel this weekend. Yes, Instagram and even YouTube. There's a really quick way to grow on YouTube now, and I can talk about all that stuff in videos that I make. You know what I mean? But I'm really excited to talk about Instagram because things are kind of taking off for us on Instagram, and it's not that difficult. Once you know a few things about, you know, how Instagram works, you can monetize yourself and you can actually make a little bit of monthly income through Instagram. You know what I mean? Um, Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily easy, but anyone can do it. Anyone has the ability to be a creator, and it's really fun if you have the creation side. Oh, what's going on? Underrated, Ricardo Rio. Good to see you. I'm gonna get to these questions, and then I'm gonna grab that pink gecko. Hey Frank, I need to text you about getting that live scheduled. The holidays are crazy. Yeah, we're gonna have Bam Bam on a live. That'll be also like new breeder on the block, breeder feature Friday. So that'd be pretty cool. Happy New Year from Facebook user. Sorry, it's not showing me who the user is, but thank you so much. Bought an Arizona blonde tarantula last week. Oh, that's cool. Hyro, what do you think gets the best results, line breeding or mixing dominant, co-dominant, recessive trait breeding? So Hyro is asking what makes the best looking animals, right? Dominant breeding, recessive breeding, or line breeding. I would have to say all of it, because if you want to get like, and there's something I'm noticing. Well, no, I've seen other people with it. I was gonna say the Charmander geckos, the ones that you see that are like all orange from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail, they're usually albino, but I've seen a couple that are not albino, I believe. But I don't think I've ever seen a pure red from the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail, like red or orange, non-albino leopard gecko. If that's the case, that means that only the albino version, for whatever reason, makes the pigment spread out a little bit further or easier. And those are mainly the ones that you see that look like Charmander. From the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail is all orange with no pattern or anything like that. So in that case, you need recessive and you need line breeding for carrot tail and color to accomplish that look. Not all the times do you need recessive genes. For example, like a clown. A clown is not focusing on any recessive or dominant gene at all. It's just focusing on polygenetic jungle, polygenetic emerine, polygenetic tangerine, and it's just years of the best of those being bred to each other to create a desired look. So to answer your question, what's better? I think they're both equal. But if you want to make a clown leopard gecko, you don't need dominant or recessive genes. If you want to make a red gecko, you don't need dominant or recessive genes. If you want to make a Charmander gecko, you need dominant, recessive, and line bred genes. So it just kind of depends what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Henry Hicks, what's going on, man? Let's see if this shows the sticker or something. Okay. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. If you guys missed our last live stream with Sophie from Sophie's Geckos, that was a really cool one. I still have to listen to it back. I always listen to them back to see if I missed questions or what questions to answer for next time, or if I'm cutting off the guest too much or whatever. I always listen back. It's good for the YouTube algorithm, and it's good for me to see how I can be a better podcaster, you know? Oh, this is my Arizona Reptile Cup show from 2 years ago. When I vended, they were handing out those cups. So if you got time to walk around at the show, check out. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a interview with Beta Gecko. I'm gonna try to get an interview with Steve Sykes from Geckos Etc. If Bubba's Geckos is there and he wants to talk to us, I'll try to get an interview with him. I'm sure there's going to be a couple other like known leopard gecko breeders there. California is a big show. So anyway, I'm going to try to get some interviews. But Friday night, if you guys missed it, I will try. I don't know if I'm going to have time. With setup and everything, but I'm going to try to have a live behind the scenes during setup. And if there's some breeders there that aren't too busy that I could talk to, or I have a quick minute to say hi, I can show you our setup. I can show you their setup. We could talk to them for a little bit. We'll see. Maybe do a couple interviews. Okay, before I get to Facebook users' question on overhead, let me do 10 more push-ups and get the pink gecko. I'm surprised no one said to get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, where are you, Pinky? Pinky is here somewhere amidst all of this. I know I labeled it. These are just some Afghanicus lemons here. Wait, I labeled it so this wouldn't be a problem unless the label fell off. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys in closer because, hold on, let me think. Was it here? Was it in this room or was it in the other room? I could have swore it was this room. Maybe it's the other room. Let's go to the adult room. Maybe it was the other room. Banded Tiger Project. I don't think it's here on this rack. No, I don't think it's in this room, guys. I apologize. I labeled it and I thought it would be easy to find unless the tape fell off, which is very possible. Oh, no, there it is. It just says pink. Okay, hold on. We got it here. So it's not in these. Okay, now mind you, this is just pure fasciolatus. So fasciolatus is a subspecies of leopard gecko that allows for lighter coloration, which makes geckos more lavender and also more pink in rare cases. In more rare cases, you'll get geckos that are more pink. So that's what happened with this gecko. I wonder if it's this one or another one. It's not really like pink, like neon pink, but might be a little tougher to see. But it's a very, very light colored animal that has like a fleshy tone to it. which gives it kind of like this pinkish purplish appearance. Now, as a baby, it was like pure pink. But then as it gets older, it might lose a little bit of that pinkiness, but it still has a ton of like purpley pink coloration. And it's going to be hard anyway to kind of capture with the lighting in here and the way that the lighting is bouncing off of stuff. Anyway, there's two geckos that we had that are kind of more pinkish. And this is one of them. I don't know if it was the one that, I don't know if this is the one that was the most pink. Because it's not looking, yeah, it's looking a little pink in person. It's just really hard to pick up on the camera. But it's a very, very fleshy looking animal. And as you can see, that fasciolatus, the pattern starts way higher up on the sides of the animal. So really cool. And this is just a really nice tame fasciolatus. And we got a couple of these for sale, like the pure fasciolatus line. So if you're looking to start your own fasciolatus, I think we have a pure male, and we might have a couple pure females coming up as well, you know. So really cool gecko. Bye, hon. Whitney's going to the gym. Anyway, I labeled two of them pink, and this was one of them. I'm not sure if this was the one that was like most pink, but so overhead. As far as leopard gecko overhead goes, we don't pay for heat tape. I stopped using heat tape a long time ago, maybe like a year and a half to 2 years ago. I've been doing everything ambient room temperature, which is the way they do it in a lot of countries like the Philippines and Indonesia, where they have good room temps, where they don't need to supplement, they don't need supplemental heating for the animals. You know what I mean? But if you were to, it depends how many racks you obviously have and how many geckos you have. But I'd say if you had a few hundred geckos, your electricity bill would probably go up by like $100 each month. You know, I run heaters in these rooms like 24/7 to keep it a certain temperature. And so our electricity bill is a little bit higher because of that. Plus, we have a shed that's air conditioned and heated, and I need that for the reptiles. So our electricity bill is a little higher because of that as well. She's not ovulating. I see much success with breeders with heat tape, also UV for their leopard geckos. But if use heat tape is UV enough, you don't need UV for your leopard geckos. I think it's beneficial for any reptile to have access to UV lighting. But for leopard geckos for 40 plus years in the hobby, people have not noticed that it's necessary for them to thrive, survive, and breed. You know what I mean? I got a Geckos Etc. Black Knight, and it's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, he's got good stuff. You know, he's going to be a tough competitor on the West Coast over here. Because he's a big name breeder that's been doing things for a while. So me doing these shows, it's a real test to see if it's if it's a viable trip for us to make every couple of months. You know, there you can see like more pinkish stuff in the tail there. Yeah, 20 push-ups if you can't find it. Would color tape help with organization? Maybe. I'm also in the process of like building new racking systems for this operation here. It's just really hard to get it to like show the pinkiness of it. It's kind of like a pinkish purple. It was much more pink when it was younger, but JSC, we do have tangerine adults and juveniles available. I will try to take some pictures this week. Let me show you, actually. We have a lot, guys. We have a lot that's available. Here's the problem. I have to get pictures of those, and that takes a long time. If you've ever tried to like get good pictures and upload them to a website and stuff, it usually takes many hours to do. And I don't know if I have that time this week or if it's even beneficial for me to do that with the show coming up. However, I might try to do it if I have time to prioritize that, you know. So here's how we organize our system right now. If you ever buy a gecko from us, it will say like a letter and then the number. And so this is column B9, this is column B10, this is column B11. So like let's say you buy a gecko for us and it's labeled like B9. Eventually, I'm also going to have these tubs labeled. Like, see this? How this says like B9-1. So like if you want B9-1, I know exactly where to come in and grab it. I'll go to B9, I'll look for B9-1, I'll pull it off the shelf, and I can get you updated pictures if the gecko is older now or whatever. Ship it off to you if you decide to buy it. So that's kind of the process that I'm going to be using for that. So here's a Coleonyx gecko up here, just chilling. But yeah, I have B7 all the way through B26 down here. And then we go all the way up to B49 up here. And these racks go too deep. So trust me, guys, we have a lot of geckos for sale. We're even going to make available the first ever Black Knight Afghanicus Generation 1s. So like, check out this animal right here. This is a Black Knight Afghanicus Generation 1. And you can see how dark this animal is just for being Generation 1. So to my knowledge, nobody else has crossed Black Knight and Afghanicus. And the reason that I wanted to is because Afghanicus is a very dark and heavy pattern morph, and it has a different DNA set than the normal Macularis Black Knights, which need to be outcrossed into different DNA. And so it just makes the perfect match for me, in my idea. Look, it has a heart right there. You see that? You see the heart on its... let's see, it might be a spade now if it's upside down. You see the heart right there? Isn't that cool? So obviously, probably the darkest of the darkest ones I'm going to keep for myself. But even if you have Black Knights that are not so dark, they can still produce very dark animals. This year, I was able to prove that time and time again. Hold on, I'm flipping the camera back here. This year, I was able to prove that time and time again, that even if you have a 50% Black Knight or a low expression Black Knight, as long as you pair it to a high expression Black Knight or a good Black Knight, you're going to pop out some babies that are 100% dark. It's really good odds. Okay, I need to put this stuff away real quick here. But yeah, we're in the process of building some new rack systems for these style tubs. If I did not have the show this week, if I did not have the show, I would be documenting a lot of stuff for sale, like a ton of stuff. Wow, it is very wet in here. So whenever they spill their water, if I catch it, I will put some paper towels down or something just to help absorb some of that moisture. This is going to be a nice little one that we'll have posted for sale soon. This is Turkmenicus bold stripe cross. So you can see the bold stripe coming through strong there. And then it also has Turkmenicus genes in it. Hyperxanthic, bold, very strong genetics in that animal for being a cross to Turkmenicus, you know. And again, the benefit of Turkmenicus, fasciolatus, afghanicus is that they are subspecies of leopard geckos that are all interbreedable with the main species, and therefore it gives you a fresh set of DNA to work with, pattern-wise, color-wise, features-wise. You know, like this is a fasciolatus male. This boy will be available. Fasciolatuses are known to be longer and lankier, have sharper claws, and they even have a slightly different set of vocal tones than the normal leopard geckos do. So it's just really interesting and awesome, I think, that we can breed and interbreed all the different, not all the different, but like 4 to 5 of the subspecies together. It's going to strengthen bloodlines. It's going to create for different looks and pattern opportunities. Oh. So yeah, if I have some time this week, oh, this is what I was going to show you. You see all of this? This is Mandarin Bold, Mandarin Inferno, Fasciolatus Blood, Mandarin Turkmenicus, Black Knight, Mandarin, Black Knight. All of this is notes that I made to myself of animals to take pictures of and to sell. And if somebody wants one of those animals before I take a picture of it, if they're like, hey, I'm looking for a tangerine animal, I can go to that board and I know where a tangerine animal is. But with the show coming up, my #1 priority right now is getting all the animals prepped for the show. And everything that we bring to the show, whatever doesn't sell, it's going to be like 100 animals we bring. Whatever doesn't sell will then immediately get taken pictures of once we return from the show next week, as well as other stuff that we have in our racks. Little by little, I'll start taking pictures of those. But if there's something that you need that you don't see on our website, just let me know, because I can look on that board, or I could just jog my memory to see if we have something, you know? So like, for example, right now, I don't have any Black Knights listed on the website. But if you came to me and you're like, hey, I'm looking for a Black Knight, I could be like, okay, I got a couple that I know I'm going to list for sale soon. Here's some of their pictures. But that takes a lot of time for me to do that for multiple people. And this week, I just don't know if I have the time to do all of that. So I might just have to prioritize just the show, and then whatever doesn't sell at the show, then I can sell those. However, I can tell you, we have a lot of geckos. So like all of this stuff behind me here, this whole row here, is probably like 300 to 400 geckos that are 25 plus grams. Then I have all of this here, which is probably another 400 geckos that are under 25 grams, but they might be somewhere between like 15 to 20 grams. So they're kind of like getting close to size. Now, some of them are babies, like fresh babies. So like they won't be close to size until like 2 months from now. But a lot of them are getting close to the size where I can sell them. You know what I mean? So if you need faith in me to know that I will have a lot of geckos for sale, I'm showing you all of that right now, so you know that I'm not keeping all of this. I'm selling 90% of what you see behind me is going to be for sale. And there's probably 600 to 700 geckos growing up right here. And we have more in the adult room that's going to be for sale. Like we have some breeder females on our website right now that I took from the adult room that I'm not going to be using for this season, and they're for sale. So like little by little, things like that will be made known. Yeah, Dragonheart says almost looks like a Tug Snow. Fasciolatus looks very snow-like, especially as you continue to breed it to other fasciolatuses, it continues to reduce that pattern and bring it higher up on the shoulders, and it continues to make the geckos more pinkish, purplish of a color. So the gecko that I was showing you, old Pinky over there, that gecko's probably 4 months old. Desert Dragon Works. Lisa, good to have you on here. So there's Dragonheart Exotics that I used to always mix up with Desert Dragon Works. So Dragonheart Exotics, this is the Lisa that I always used to refer to you as. So Lisa, good to have you. Lisa loves dragons. She also has a really cool hobby where she makes like arts and crafts type lizards and dragons and exotic creatures and stuff like that. So if you want to check her out at Desert Dragon Works on Instagram, go ahead, because she's got some cool stuff. So I believe there are a couple of people that are working on UVB for racking systems right now. So yeah, the purple on the tail comes through really well. In this room, which has a lot of, like, the walls in this room are gray. So if you see that, this light is not reflecting the best light off of the walls in this room. If I ever build a gecko facility, my goal is going to be to have an all-white room. White floors, white ceiling, white walls, because when I take pictures in an all-white room, the light is going to surround the animals that I take pictures of much better, and that's going to create like a more truer to color photograph. Right now, what I do to get true to color photographs is I go outside and I use the diffused light of the sun when I'm taking photographs, like under a tree or in the shade, like kind of a shadish area somewhere. That's called diffused lighting. When you use diffused lighting, that helps out a lot for pictures, you know. BHB Reptile, their leopard geckos, thoughts have you got from them? I have not gotten from BHB. I don't know who's running their company anymore. It used to be Brian Barczyk. So you could check out some of their reviews. I mean, there's some mixed reviews. There's people that have had good experiences, people that have had not so good experiences. They are a large scale breeder. So I've never bought it from them. So I don't want to like necessarily speak against them. But sometimes when you buy from really large breeders, the customer service isn't there. And if something goes wrong with an animal, you might not get the best means of customer service from them. But their animals are pretty cheap. So if you don't want an expensive gecko, you can get from them. However, I will match their prices for you. So like I have $50 to $75 geckos or $75 to $100 geckos that might arguably be in a little bit better shape than the geckos you would be getting from them. Plus, you get my customer service for life, and I can give you much better one-on-one focus and attention because I'm not as big as they are, so to speak. So this is the thing. How much are our Generation 1 Afghanicuses? The perfect market. No other Afghanicus Black Knight exists in the world. So in a perfect market, I would say I would have liked to see them sell for $2,500 to $3,000 because none other exists in the world. So like whenever you go to buy something that doesn't exist, can you really put a price tag on it, right? Or how difficult would it be to recreate that? Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that they're difficult to create, but nobody else has done it. And so the fact that nobody else has done it puts me light years ahead of where anybody else could be if they're just jumping in right now. So there's a certain value and price tag that should be associated to that value. But I think when I bring them to California, I think I'm going to sell them for $1,500. And they might not be my darkest ones because I'm keeping my darkest ones. But like I said, even if one is not that dark, as long as it has Black Knight genetics inside of it, which obviously all of them do because they came from the same dad, you're gonna produce really dark animals if you just breed them to another Black Knight, like super, super dark. And I'm really hopeful for the Afghanicus project producing the darkest Black Knights possible because of what I'm seeing in Generation 1 already of the Afghanicuses and how dark they are naturally. So $1,500, let's say. You ever thought of getting into fat tail geckos? Every day? Not every day, but every so often. You know what I mean? Fat tails are pretty cool. I just really love leopard geckos right now and want to focus on leopard geckos. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Denise Ray, one of our group experts at our Facebook group, Leopard Gecko Keepers and Breeders, non-judgmental Leopard Gecko Keepers and Breeders. It's an excellent group. I'm actually streaming this to that group right now. Good group of people. We try to keep things as judgment-free as possible. Obviously, there's going to be little scuffles and things here and there, but report it to me, and I can talk to everybody involved, and we can see if we can come up with a resolution. And if there's any scammers or spammers, let me know. We'll delete them, and they'll become less and less of an issue as we phase them out. Can you get a lighter baby from 2 pure Black Knights? Yes, which is why lighter ones usually sell for less money. Now, on the opposite side of that coin, can you get a darker gecko from 2 lighter geckos or 1 lighter gecko? Yes. So when breeding Black Knights, you want to look for how potent is the Black Knight that you just bought. For example, you could have a 100% Black Knight that is light. We have some of them. We're going to be selling some 100% Black Knights that are lighter in color. We're going to be selling them for maybe anywhere between $300 to $500 that are lighter in color. But they're 100% Black Knights, pure Black Knights. They just happen to be lighter in expression. That does not mean that they can't produce 100% dark Black Knights, and which is the reason why they should still carry a decent to high price tag, especially if they're older and ready to breed. Any animal that's older and ready to breed is always going to be higher in price tag. On the opposite end, you could have 100% dark Black Knight, and it could produce not so dark Black Knights. So it can go both ways. But obviously, people want the darkest of the darkest Black Knights, and they put the highest value on those. I wish we could breed hard wiki. Yeah, I'm going to try. One day, I'm going to try to breed hard wiki with the other species. I heard that it's not possible, but I have not seen scientific evidence or documentation of that. We have seen scientific evidence and documentation of Angraminu trying to breed to Macularis, and they create mules, kind of. Like the animals don't really thrive and aren't really fertile in the same way that like a horse and a donkey make a mule, and Angraminu and a Macularis make mules. Like they make livable creatures, but those creatures are not necessarily viable or thrivable or reproducible. That has been recorded scientifically in scientific papers, but everything else is just word of mouth, and sometimes you can't trust word of mouth, and so you just have to do it yourself, you know, which is why I'm so big on documenting everything, video evidence, website evidence, all of that, so that people can know the results. You know what I mean? I will probably try to breed hard wiki to Macularis in the future. In the same way, I will probably try to breed the Saturninensis. It's a new strain of leopard gecko that was discovered. I'm going to try to breed that into Macularis probably in the future as well. I probably won't try the Angraminu because, like I said, there was already a scientific paper on it, and they documented their findings. You know what I mean? So How do breeding cycles work? Great question. We have a video on that. It does not necessarily involve temperature, although you can cycle your females through temperature. So, for example, BHB Reptiles, Brian Barczyk Reptiles, they cycle their females. So, like in the wintertime, they drop all the temperatures to like 60, 70 degrees for 2 to 3 months. And then they kick those females back into gear so that all the females are breeding at the same time. But if you don't do that, if you keep your heat or room at a stable temperature, your girls are going to cycle year round. So some girls will cycle in January, like they'll start breeding in January. Other girls will start breeding in June. And you just have to record in your data records which girls are starting on which dates so that you know when they're going to start breeding by the next year. I did a whole video on this. If you type in on YouTube, Geeky Gecko Creations, female ovulation cycle, I did a whole video on it talking about it more in detail. Luna Geckos! Happy New Year, Luna. I don't know if you're still here, but welcome, welcome. We love Luna. I would love to do a live stream with Luna sometime soon when he has free time, hopefully. So, hi, Lisa. I'm Sarah. So, Lisa, I was calling Dragonheart Exotics. I was calling her your name for the longest time. But they are Sarah and Kyle. But I just always thought that it was you. So I called them Lisa, and it became like a big thing, a big joke between us. But have I ever bought from the Urban Reptile? No. It's pretty much been proven that he edits his tangerines to make them look more red than they actually are. But I still like the guy. I've tried to set up an interview with him to sing his praises because I still think he's an excellent breeder who sells excellent geckos of excellent quality. It's just, I know he edits his photos for sure, like 100% no doubt, to make the tangerines look more red than they actually are. Now, does that make him a cruel and untrustworthy person to the full extent? I don't know. Let's talk about this. If I was a novice and I spent $1,000 on a gecko that arrived to me and did not look like the photograph, I would probably be pretty upset. Rightfully so. That's a lot of money, and you should try to make your animals look accurate to form, and you should not try to make them look better in the photograph than they actually do in real life. So I will 100% say that he is in the wrong for doing that. However, I will also 100% say that I look up to the guy. I think he produces excellent animals. I think I might buy some animals from him at some point in the future, but I'm just realistic about what I'm going to be buying from him. I know that it's probably not going to look like what it looks like in that photograph. Now, his snow animals are okay, because obviously you don't need to necessarily change the color on a snow animal. It's just the tangerine animals that have been proven to be brighter red than they actually are in person by multiple videos online and also multiple picture comparisons, testimony reports. I don't, if I'm privy to some information that could hurt somebody's image, should I publicly say it? Like, is that right? There's one other thing I know about him that could hurt his image, but I don't want to hurt his image. And I think, okay, let me ask you guys this. There's a piece of information that I know for sure, 100%, no doubt. I have evidence of this physically in documentation. about Urban Gecko that would 100% make people think twice about buying an animal from him. But that piece of information that I have might also be something that other breeders struggle with. They just don't admit to it or confess it. This guy, Craig from the Urban Gecko, he actually admitted to it, he confessed it, and he made it right with his customer. That's all you can ask for, in my opinion. I think he did the best of what he could do given our hobby and certain things that you need to be aware of in the leopard gecko hobby. So I don't want to say too much necessarily right now, but do you think I should expose one person who has been open and honest about this issue when there's many other breeders in the hobby that either struggle with this issue knowingly or unknowingly, but they are not public about it? Should I hurt one guy's image just because he's admitted to it, is what I'm trying to say. When in reality, any leopard gecko breeder could struggle with it, and I would almost guarantee you some of the biggest breeders in the hobby right now, along with the urban gecko, struggle with this same issue. It's just that they haven't been caught, or they haven't been confronted, or there's no documentation of it, and so therefore they keep their mouth shut and nobody needs to know, kind of thing. Let me give you guys some time to answer on whether you think it's right that I expose him individually just because I know and I have physical documented evidence of this, or whether you think I should keep my mouth shut as long as I feel like he did his customer right in the situation and he handled it right in the situation. I'm going to take a leak, then I'm going to do 20 push-ups, then I'm going to look for your guys' comments on that response. Okay, now I also have to say this. Craig, the owner of the Urban Gecko, is a family-owned and operated business. His wife, his daughter, I think he has a son. They all seem to be like great people. So I love them. Honestly, I love them. That's why I wanted to have him on an interview. If I had him on an interview and I brought this up with him, like, hey, do you edit your photos for your tangerine geckos to make them look better? And he told me no, I would say, okay, and move on. I wouldn't harp on him for it. I wouldn't be like, oh, we got proof. Because at the end of the day, I love the guy. I think he's a great guy. What was I going to say? Oh, the thing that I was going to say is he's not threatened by controversy. He's been doing this for 20 plus years. He is going to be successful no matter what. He cannot be canceled unless he dies. And even if he dies, his wife will take over the business. And even if she dies, his daughter and son will take over the business. What I'm saying is, you can't cancel the guy. You might make a few sales drop away from him, but at the end of the day, you are not going to stop him from being profitable or being a successful company. So he is not threatened by controversy. Even if I was to say what I'm thinking in my head right now about his operation that I was talking to you guys about, he would probably prefer that I didn't say it, but he's not going to lose any sleep over it. Trust in that. The guy is probably one of the most successful financial leopard gecko breeders ever, along with Ron Tremper, Geckos Etc., Suburban Gecko, and Gecko Boa. Craig from the Urban Reptile. They're probably up there as the top 5 leopard gecko breeders ever to have been in this hobby. Yeah, and someone in the comments was saying that he mislabeled something. Now, if he mislabeled it because he's ignorant, then I would totally call him out on that. I don't think he's ignorant. Maybe he did it as a mistake. He's shipping hundreds of geckos like every month, and so he can easily misrepresent something by accident. I think he's a knowledgeable guy. I don't think that he is ignorant. Like, I think he's very, very knowledgeable. So if he mislabeled something, I apologize for that. My first thought on it is that he did it by accident. And if you addressed it with him, hopefully he fixed it with you. David Alicia, hey Frank, I wish I could make the show. Yeah, California, guys, I'm excited. What happens when Black Knight is mixed with Tangerine? There's some great pictures. Go to Google, google.com, type into Google Extreme Exotics, both with an X. Extreme Exotics. You will find a company in Canada that has some really, really amazing Tangerine Black Knight leopard geckos. Now, do they look as good as the photos? I don't know. I'm going to order one from them one day, and I'll let you know when I find out. Or I'm just going to make my own here because I have everything I need to make it. But if I want to jump ahead of the curve, they're already well ahead in that project, the farthest ahead that any leopard gecko breeder can be. So I would buy from them if you want to get ahead. But they have pictures on their Facebook page. Extreme Exotics, excellent people, excellent Extreme Exotics. Check them out. Yeah. Luna Geckos, Big G. Jasmine, hey, Jasmine, I don't know if you're the Jasmine that I met here locally in Arizona that we did a sale with, but I tried to text you today and it didn't work. Maybe your phone was out of service or something, but just let me know. Norman says, I just hurt him by saying that. Yes and no. Yes, on the one hand, people are going to be wondering, what is it? And no, on the other hand, people are going to be flocking to his website and Instagram and following him and buying geckos from him. So, like, at the end of the day, the saying that all publicity is good publicity, I don't think that's true 100% of the time. But if somebody doesn't know who you are and somebody mentions your name, most people are going to check that person out, especially in today's day and age where they can just easily go over there. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not saying don't buy from the Urban Gecko. And maybe Norman's right. Maybe I did skew some people not to buy from him. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't buy from the Urban Gecko. I think he takes care of his customers, from what I can tell, is what I'm saying. In the pet trade, there is never a guarantee that animals are going to be what you think they are when they arrive to you. And as long as the owner of the company takes care of his customers, I think that's the best that they can do in any business. And as long as the customers are happy, then that business is doing good by my standards, you know? And And in the specific case that I'm talking about and referring about, the customer left happy. So I'll leave it at that. I think any and I will also say this, the issue that the urban gecko had with this customer is the same issue that I can almost guarantee you, undoubtedly 100%, many other breeders in the hobby have. Whether they are aware of this issue or unaware of this issue, I can guarantee you that breeders have this issue. Besides urban gecko, you know what I mean? Urban gecko and suburban gecko are different. So that's another thing to take note of. Suburban gecko is owned by Chris and urban gecko is owned by Craig. That's funny that they have the same seat. Do you think colder weather will affect when they breed? Well, no. My geckos have bred year-round regardless of the weather. I would say most, like 75% of leopard geckos tend to breed between start breeding in January through April. So like starting in January or starting in April. But there's still 15 to 25% of geckos that are starting to breed in June, July, August, September, October, November. You know what I mean? So there's still some geckos that start to breed in those months as well. Yeah, Sarah says that he should come out publicly on his own and do it. That would be that would be noble, you know. And again, I like Craig. I love the guy. I want to have him on our live stream. I personally don't think that he's doing anything that wrong or bad as a business as a whole. You know, even with the editing of the tangerine photos, I mean, it is what it is. When you see a cheeseburger on the commercial that McDonald's puts on the TV, that cheeseburger looks much better on the TV than it does when you eat it. So should you boycott McDonald's when you eat their cheeseburgers because they make it look better in advertising than it is in real life? It's just part of this world. Would I do that? Would I show an animal that looks better, like 2 to 3 times better in a photograph than it actually does in person? Personally, no, that's not what I want to do right now in my marketing. But can I really blame somebody or hurt, like, or look down upon somebody for doing that? No, because at the same time, that's just the way marketing works in this world. Do you know, I was in business school. Do you know the term, oh gosh, I'm going to butcher this totally. Caveat emperator or something like that. It's a Latin phrase that means buyer beware. When you buy a car, is the owner responsible to reveal everything to you about that car that could be wrong? No. Buyer beware. The buyer is responsible to research reviews, history, testimony of everything regarding that car, everything regarding that house. You know what I mean? The owner is not responsible to reveal everything to you, you know? So same in the reptile world. The owner is not responsible to reveal everything to you. If you want to know something about the history of that animal, you might have to ask the owner, hey, has this animal ever been egg bound? Hey, has this animal ever not produced? Now, personally, I try to give all that information up front. Like if a girl's ever been egg bound, I'll lower her price and be like, this girl's been egg bound. She might or might not go for you. You know what I mean? And you can have that information. But if I don't do that as a business, not just me, but other people as well, the burden is not necessarily on the seller. The burden is on the buyer to know the right questions to ask. And then if the seller lies about it, now that's an issue. I would say that that's definitely breaking an ethical bounds issue if the owner lies about it on purpose to get the sale. You know what I mean? Some things are better left alone. Better not to bring more drama to the table. Agree. And then the other side of the coin is, as Yvette says, if it can prevent issues, then it is something that customers should know. So I definitely understand both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? Oh, Whitney Epps, am I the only one on this live feed? No, Whitney. I just started talking to Whitney. She's from our Facebook page, Non-Judgmental Leopard Gecko Keepers and Breeders. She seems pretty excited to be into the leopard gecko scene. So welcome, Whitney. Don't put him on blast. Yeah. Again, even if I ever did publicly reveal this about him, I still like the guy. So, how much do I make in a year? I think in 2022 we grossed like $30,000 in sales, but that's across rats, reptiles, roaches, social media, you know, because I do make a little bit of money from YouTube, and now I'm making a little bit of money through Instagram. We do sell merchandise. I'm not super big on selling merchandise yet, but it's going to be something, you know what I mean? So I think all in all, I still have to do the books for this year, but we probably grossed like $30,000 this year, and I wasn't even selling a bunch of high-end stuff. So I'm hopeful for next year that when we're selling high-end stuff, we'll be able to do even more. So I'll let you know at the end of next year what we gross. Now, gross does not mean profit. You have to take your gross earnings, subtract your expenses, and then you can have profits. I'm not paying myself yet. So even if we made $30,000 and expenses were $20,000, which they weren't, expenses were way more than $30,000. So we're actually in the negative. But even if we made $30,000 and our expenses were $20,000, that's a profit of $10,000, right? Wrong, because I'm not paying myself yet. And technically you have to pay yourself before the company is profitable. Your geckos will breed if it's cold, as long as your temperatures are good in your setup. They will still feel the atmospheric pressures of like the outside. They'll feel that changing, but as long as you don't adjust the pressures, you'll be okay. Okay, Jasmine Sploots is a different Jasmine. Yeah, buying in shows is a great way to see the quality of the animal before it gets to you. Now, Urban Gecko isn't the only one. There's a lot of breeders that send out animals that are less good when you receive them in person. I personally have bought from one, but I'm experienced in the hobby. I'm aware of what an edited photo looks like because I know what is realistic versus not realistic, you know? Oh, I caught up with the questions. Why does my baby leopard gecko like to sleep all the time? It could be sick. So please send me pictures, 480-299-7657, or message me on Instagram or Facebook at Geeky Gecko Creations. When you buy a baby leopard gecko from Petco or PetSmart or a reptile store, oftentimes they could be sick or they could have parasites, or it could be a husbandry issue. Maybe the heat isn't right, or it's too much heat, or it doesn't have water, or it doesn't have vitamins. If you send me more information and pictures, that will definitely help me diagnose for you. So we're going to end the live there. 27 people here. If you don't mind, before you leave, please just give this video a like. It'll help us continue to grow. If you're going to be in California this Friday or this Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be at the Pomona Reptile Super Show. We're going to have a bunch of black knights there, tangerines, pet geckos, white and yellows, bolds, mixes, wild types, Afghanicus Black Knights, the very first in the world to be released. We will have those there. Please come see us. In addition to that, I'm going to try to get some bonus behind the scenes footage of us setting up on Friday and other breeders setting up on Friday. I will try to do a live stream on Friday since we won't have an official guest to interview. I'm going to try to do a behind the scenes Friday with the show. This is California's largest show. It's often the West Coast largest show. So we're probably going to see some big content creators there and some really big breeders. I'm going to try to get an interview with Beta Gecko. I'm going to try to get an interview with Geckos, etc. And anybody else that I can see there that is somebody that I look up to or want to talk about leopard geckos with. So I love you guys. I'm going to go catch something to drink and eat and then get back to leopard gecko cleaning. Number again is 480-299-7657. Thank you, Yvette, for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let's highlight that. Thank you so much. You're in Cali. It's going to be in Pomona, Hyro. It's going to be in Pomona, California. If you look on their Instagram, Reptile Super Show, they will have the information there. I'll also be blasting the information up as well as it gets closer. Mitch, looking forward to seeing you at the show. Thank you, Mitch. Stop by. We'll tag you in an Instagram post if we can. Take a picture with you if you want. It'll be awesome and fun. So thank you guys. Love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a Geeky Gecko great night, guys. Peace.
Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A+ customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order.